The film that we are going to recap today is called The Caregiver. The movie starts with a woman having an emotional conversation with her mother on the phone, where she tells her that she is not going to meet her father as she hates him, and ends the call by saying she has an interview for the caregiver position. During the interview, the man tells her that her mother's illness has advanced in a very short time, and she can get aggressive at times. Further, the illness has become even worse after the death of his sister. She tells him that she can handle such situations. He asks her if she has any kids, to which she replies no, and says she is alone in the city. The man asks if she can start tonight as his mother's existing nurse is no longer coming. She's surprised by the offer and says yes. She enters the house and hangs the keys next to the main door. She then moves to the living room where she finds a note containing a drawing regarding the layout of the floor. She hears a noise coming from upstairs and goes there to check. While looking at a picture on the wall from 1951, she again hears a knocking sound and goes to a room where she sees an old lady, Mrs. Belov, sitting on the bed. She introduces herself to the lady as Emma and tells her that she is here to take care of her. The lady is seated still and does not respond to her. She makes her feel comfortable by laying her down on the bed and covering her with a blanket. She then leaves for her room and starts to unpack her suitcase. To her surprise, she finds clothes in the closet. She starts to put her clothes inside the closet and hears footsteps from outside the room. She calls the old lady's name, but there is no one, and she closes the door. The next day, as they watch TV, the old lady looks at Emma and calls her Anna, her daughter. Emma tells her that she is not her daughter, but her nurse. The old lady then gets angry and says she is not her daughter as she is already dead. The old lady again asks Emma, "Who are you?" Emma again says she is the nurse hired by her son to take care of her. Emma then takes the old lady for a bath. While bathing the old lady, Emma sees marks on her body and asks her if her old nurse did this to her, which angers the old lady, and she starts yelling.
No!
Emma calms her down and takes her to the room. Emma tells her that if someone is hurting her, she can tell her, but the old lady does not respond. As she is leaving, the old lady says, "Thank you, my sweet Anna." Emma smiles and leaves the room. On her way to her room, she hears music coming from one of the rooms. She tries to open the door, but it is locked, and the music stops by itself. Thereafter, she goes to her room. While resting on her bed, she hears a thudding noise coming from another room. She goes near the wall and hears a murmuring voice. She opens the door of her room and sees the old lady standing facing the wall. She approaches the lady cautiously. As she touches the lady, she turns around violently to attack, but Emma calms her down and takes her to her room. Later in the night, the old lady starts hitting her shoulder against the closet. Listening to the noise, Emma comes to her room to stop her from hurting herself. She puts the old lady in the bed, and as she's about to leave, the old lady holds her hand tightly. She asks her to leave her hand. Since the old lady is asleep, she does not let go of her hand. Emma forcefully gets her hand free from the hold. As Emma leaves, the lady opens her eyes and starts smiling as she is pretending to be sleeping. While taking bath, Emma hears the sound of footsteps. She thinks the old lady is outside and asks if she needs something, but no one responds. She tries to relax but hears the thudding sound again. She goes to the old lady's room and finds that she is sleeping. However, she continues to hear the thudding sound. She realizes the sound is coming from the bathroom. As she puts her ear against the wall to listen, she hears a loud thud that scares her, and she leaves the bathroom. Feeling tired, she goes to sleep. Just then, a person appears standing next to her. When she wakes up, she finds herself covered with a blanket and her pajamas are wet. She goes to the washroom and feels pain in her stomach. She lifts her shirt to check and finds 2 marks on her body. She hears a sound and goes downstairs to check, where she finds footprints and sees the lock on the door moving. She goes back upstairs to check on the old lady, but she is not in her room. She finds a photo lying on the floor, which was in the common area earlier, as well as some medicines. She hears music coming from a room which was locked earlier, but this time the door is not locked. As she goes inside to check, it turns out to be a baby room with crib and toys. While Emma was checking the room, the old lady appears from behind and gives her an injection. Feeling the pain, Emma turns around asking the lady what did she do to her and faints thereafter. Next, we see a man dragging her to a room, When she wakes up, she finds herself tied to the bed with the old lady and her son standing there. The old lady prepares another injection, looking at which Emma asks her what is she doing. The old lady says she will take good care of her and gives her the injection. Emma falls asleep soon after the administration of injection. When she wakes up, the old lady's son comes to check on her. Emma requests him to let her go, but he responds by saying his mother has good experience in taking care of pregnant women. Emma is surprised and says she is not pregnant. Just then, the old lady enters the room and the man leaves. The old lady tells her that she performed artificial insemination on her, which makes her angry, and she starts cursing her. As the old lady leaves, Emma manages to untie herself and finds a big pin in the drawer next to her bed. She heard someone coming towards the room and pretended as if she was still tied. The guy comes in and sits next to her, telling her that his mother will take good care of her. Just then, she stabs the guy's neck with the pin, causing him to fall on the floor, and he becomes completely lifeless. While going to the stairs, she sees the old lady coming up and runs towards the bathroom and locks herself inside. While inside the bathroom, she hears the loud cry of the old lady because of her dead son and starts banging the door heavily. Once the banging of the door stops, Emma checks through the keyhole and sees the old lady's hand covered in blood. Emma seems completely terrified by the entire situation. As Emma was sitting inside the bathroom, she heard the thudding noise again. She hears the noise coming from the bathtub drain hole. She tries to listen through the drain hole and hears someone shouting for help. She then goes back to the door to check through the keyhole if the old lady is still standing there. She cautiously opens the door to check for the presence of the old lady and sees blood on the floor. She quickly goes to her room and locks the door. The old lady finds that Emma is out of the bathroom and reaches out to open the door. Just then, the phone rings and she goes downstairs to take the call. Emma goes out to listen to the conversation. She hears the old lady asking for help from the person on the phone. The old lady sees her and disconnects the phone as well as removes the wire so that she cannot use the phone. Emma hesitantly goes downstairs to try to open the main door, but it is locked. She then tries to use the phone, but it is not working. The old lady comes from behind, but Emma hits her with the phone and then runs upstairs to hide herself in one of the rooms. The old lady follows Emma and starts knocking on the door with the knife. She asks her if she'd like her baby's room. Emma sees a curtain in the room. However, she finds the windows being covered by wooden blocks, and no one could hear her shout for help. Realizing there is no way out, Emma sits against the wall and cries in despair. She then pulls herself together and makes a determination to get out of this house. She picks up a wooden block lying on the floor and throws it at the mirror in the room to break it. She picks up a sharp broken piece and goes downstairs with the sharp mirror in hand. As she moves towards the door, she hears a loud cry of a woman coming from the basement. She goes to the basement and finds another pregnant woman crying for help. She tells the woman that she will get her out of here. She puts the sharp mirror next to her and tries to break her free from the chain. As Emma was unable to break her free, she starts looking for the keys. While searching, she finds semen samples in a box. They then hear someone coming to the basement. Emma hides herself in the dark portion of the room. The old lady enters the room, telling the woman that today she will give birth post, which she will be free to go. As the old woman prepares to give her injection, Emma comes from behind and hits her with a rod. Emma searches the old lady to find the keys but cannot find them. She tells the woman she will go upstairs to get the keys. As she is searching for the keys, she hears the woman shouting, saying the old lady is coming up. She comes upstairs with a gun in her hand and enters the room with the open door. Emma was hiding under the bed in that room. The old lady stands in front of the mirror and says she will count to 5 for her to get out. Emma asks her to stop counting on 4 and she comes out from under the bed. The old lady tells Emma to help her bring the woman from the basement, to which she agrees. They go to the basement to bring the lady to the second floor. While coming upstairs, her water broke, but the old lady tells them to continue towards the second floor. After putting the woman on the bed, the old lady takes Emma to the bathroom and tells her to tie herself to the wash basin. As Emma is tied, she hears the cry of the baby, but does not hear the voice of the woman who gave birth anymore. The next thing she sees is the old lady coming with the baby. She asks the old lady about the woman. The old lady smiles at her and moves on, at which point Emma realizes that the woman is dead. The old woman comes back and closes the door of the bathroom. Emma then hears the voice of a man and shouts for help. The man opens the door with a gun in his hand. Emma asks for help, but the man is shot by the old lady. She then takes Emma to the basement and asks her to chain herself. As Emma turns around, she finds the piece of broken mirror she had left when she came there earlier. Emma tells the old lady she will not kill her until the baby is born, as she needs the baby. The old lady responds that she can use any other girl instead of her. At that moment, Emma throws the box of semen samples on the ground. The old lady bends forward in despair. Emma takes the opportunity and stabs the old lady. As she's about to shoot the old lady, she hears the old lady's daughter calling for her. While she's looking for her mother on the second floor, she sees the dead woman in the room, which scared her. As she turns, Emma is standing in the stairs, pointing the gun at her. She tells Emma she has nothing to do with what she went through and asks about her mother. Emma tells her that she is in the basement and takes her there. She sees her mother lying on the ground. Emma takes the keys from her and tells her to stay there until the police come. As she is leaving, the woman grabs Emma's leg, which makes her fall on the ground. She then tries to choke her. Emma grabs the keys and hits the woman's eye with it, making her partially blind. The woman falls to the ground in pain, covering her eye. Emma then takes the gun and shoots the woman. As Emma is leaving the house, she hears the baby crying. She goes back to the baby's room, picks up the baby, and comes out of the house with a feeling of relief on her face. Wait, the movie does not end here. 9 months later, while Emma is sleeping, the old lady comes to her room and is about to give her an injection, but it turns out to be a dream only. While drinking water, she hears a noise and comes out asking who is there. On realizing it is the old lady, Emma removes the fake pregnancy belt and throws it in front of the old lady, telling her that she will never give birth to a baby having her family's blood. As the lady comes out to attack Emma, she shoots the lady in the head. Emma then goes inside to check on the baby. The movie ends with police coming to the crime scene and doing their investigation with Emma sitting on the couch holding the baby.